Business Brain, episode 761 for Casual Friday AI, June 12th, which is National Button Battery Awareness Day 2026 .
Wait, what?
Button, the little button batteries, like a CR2032.
Yes, yeah, I know exactly what that is.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the tiny little button batteries.
I was what button batteries are we talking about here?
Yeah,
that's
button batteries.
Awareness Day, like a safety thing? Is that you think it is?
I don't.
Or something?
That's actually. Oh, that's a good question. Is it a safety
little
thing?
kids swallow them, or some of them don't work in AirPods?
Yes, that's exactly what. Yeah, some of them don't work in your AirTag.
It's
you know
ridiculous.
why they don't work in your AirTags?
Why?
It's because people will swallow them. And yes, National Button Battery Awareness Day, it was created because of the hazards of children swallowing, which is very bad.
Very bad.
So what they have done to help mitigate that is they put a bad tasting compound on them, and that is what keeps them out of children's mouths. And also why, like that little coating for some reason doesn't work in an AirTag. So you just take a knife or something and scrape off the coating. Now, be aware that you are taking metal against metal on a battery. And they are lithium batteries.
I just bought the one that said AirTag compatible.
Right. And they're lithium batteries that can go high order. And you're creating heat with friction while you're digging into this battery. So do all of this with that knowledge, eyes wide open. But yes.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Sounds crazy.
Are button batteries enough to run data centers, Shannon?
Hey, maybe. Not quite there. But I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about data centers, and I want to talk about AI as well. There's been some news out there where people giving commencement speeches, and when they bring up AI, they're getting booed and different things. And a lot of, as well, a ton of negative press about data centers. And I was like, well, this is interesting. So I decided to look into it a little bit more. It's like, well, what is this? I know there's massive.
We had people protesting against a data center that was planned. Well, they were exploring the idea of putting one in not too far from me, and I think they did away with that idea. So there you go. So I'm looking at this. There's some stuff going up and around Tahoe and Nevada because there's a bunch of data center stuff. Oh yeah, for sure.
Different energy things, and I came across something I found very interesting. It wasn't just that. They use a lot of water for cooling, and they use obviously a ton of energy. Yep. And then there's some federal government stuff going on where it's like, hey, they have to, I forget the phrasing they used, but they had to be basically even, we're going to set this law where if you build a data center, you have to bring your own infrastructure, is what they were calling it. Your
own electricity and everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't just build it and suck off the, whatever's there, because it wasn't built
to support that. Yeah, of course.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. But the one thing I found fascinating that I've been reading some articles about, listening to a couple podcasts, was that if you dig and scratch the surface behind I shouldn't say a lot, I gotta be careful, behind some of these organizations that are very anti-data center, and maybe you could say AI, is that if you look where their funding is coming from, is a lot of it was coming from other countries, and in particular China.
Oh yeah,
and
data center capital of the world. Yeah,
correct. And so this thought is that, hey, these are our competitors are stirring up this pot of, you don't want a data center, they're evil, AI's bad, it's going to steal all the jobs, all this kind of stuff. And I thought that's pretty fascinating. And they had some, you could see ties from this organization or this NGO is taking money from China, yada, yada, yada. And I thought that was fascinating. And I
interesting.
Yeah,
makes sense. My guess,
it's competitive.
It totally makes sense. I mean, we do this. I'm not saying you and me,
yes,
or maybe not even anybody listening, but we as society, we do this kind of thing all the time. We lobbyists exist.
Exactly, it's another type of lobbying.
It's all really this is, right?
Yes.
And they exist by putting pressure on trying to incentivize however they can people in power, and also just the masses with news stories and things like that. Like this is lobbying 101 if that's what's happening.
It's not some nefarious conspiracy theory. It is like you're right. It is lobbying, and
I'm sure this is it makes sense that this is. I can't be sure that this is happening, but it makes sense that this is happening. I also think that that's not the only thing that's creating
it's not the only thing.
Anti-data center sentiment, right? There's other reasons, and some more valid than others that communities have.
Yeah, that's why I think this BYOI, bring your own infrastructure.
Yeah,
that it seems to solve, as long as it's I don't know, whatever it says, as long as they have enough land or whatever, and they're not natural resources or whatever. But if they were to bring their own infrastructure and upgrade, things along the way to make it better, it's I don't see the issue with it. But that's why I think one of the things we've talked a lot about, especially Elon, talking about doing it in space, right? Because there's infinite space, and there's not as much cooling issues, and you've got the sun, and so
there's some energy you can harness.
Ton of energy there. But,
that's true. My thought, I actually wrote down as you were like, I say wrote down. I didn't write it down. I typed it. But it is underwater data centers.
Why not?
Like I don't know. Like
and even using
space
the waves
might be better. The
waves, the currents to generate energy. Could be fascinating. It's kind of interesting. My take on it is that if we don't do it, another country's going to do it, and in order to be competitive, and also in order to ensure our economy and our safety in some measures, we need to have that stuff here. And, it's the same conversation I have with people who are concerned about AI we've said it here. It's like, AI is not going to put you out of business or take your job. Someone who uses AI is going to do that. So you should embrace it and learn as much as you can about it. So you could be ready and adjust.
I agree. I agree. Yep. Yeah. Interesting. It's a good, All right. Well, that's where we are.
Let us know what you think. Feedback@businessbrain.show. If you think it's crazy that other countries are actually spending money on campaigns and social media and, funding NGOs to go out and push this anti-AI and anti-data center message, I'd love to hear it.
Yep. Let us know. Feedback@businessbrain.show. All right. We have other AI things to talk about.
We do.
First, though, I want to tell you about our sponsor. And let me ask you something. If somebody walked into your office right now and said, hey, hand me your client list, your contracts, and your login credentials, you'd say absolutely not, right? We're all on the same page about that? Good. But every day, scammers send emails that do pretty much exactly that. And they're getting frighteningly good at it. The one I've been watching, fake vendor invoices. We got one. We actually tried to pay it. Thankfully, we were stopped by our bank. They look identical to the real ones. The right logo, the right format, slightly different bank routing number. Your bookkeeper approves it. Money moves. And by the time anybody catches it, the payment is gone. And this, folks, is where our sponsor, Bitdefender, earns its reputation. Bitdefender is a global leader in cybersecurity, and their ultimate small business security is purpose-built for teams of 25 or fewer who are building something real without a dedicated security department. What I really like is that you get AI-powered scam protection that spots these attacks before they reach anyone on your team, plus business reputation monitoring, password management, unlimited VPN, and a dashboard so clean, it makes me feel like I actually have my act together. And that, my friends, it's a powerful feeling. Keep your small business safe with Bitdefender Ultimate Small Business Security and save 30% when you go to bitdefender.com/brain. That's bitdefender.com/brain for 30% off. Check it out. I think you're really going to like it. And our thanks to Bitdefender for sponsoring this episode. Shannon, I have another topic that kind of fits with yours, the sentiment, the anti-AI sentiment.
Okay.
Right? I think that's kind of what we were talking about earlier in one way, and I have another way of talking about it. There are people who, for very valid reasons are against using AI for a specific task. We did an episode last week on Gig Gab all about AI, and it was through the lens of musicians, right? And
sure.
And so there are parts of the creative process that might be better with a human creating it, right? And there's an argument to be made. There are very good arguments.
A lot of people in the arts that are concerned about AI. I get it.
Yeah. And I for songwriters who say, I think songs should be, for example, songwriters are one group or people, you may, whether or not you're a songwriter, doesn't matter. There are people who feel very strongly that songwriting should be left to humans and not to AI. And my answer to that, I love this stuff because the audience for songwriting is other humans, regardless of whether AI creates it or a human creates it, right? The intended audience is other humans. That's the same with paintings. That's the same with most art, right? Art is built for humans to experience. I don't want to say enjoy because some art isn't meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to make you think and maybe not be enjoyable. Yeah. Yes, right, exactly. And that's okay. And so what I love is that we humans are the metric of that. So you could take an AI song and a human song, and if a group of humans likes the AI song, well then that's okay. Like for them, that's okay. Yeah. As long as they know it's an AI. I guess as long as they know it's an AI song, there's a conversation to be had. But let's say, let's say that that's a different conversation. It's a good one. It is. But I want to stay on point here. So because I'm already off. But let's say you are someone who is against AI writing songs. Great, fine, understood, heard. We all get to make those choices for ourselves. My plea to you is, don't let that sour you on AI in general.
Yes. Yep.
Don't let that sour you.
Totally makes sense.
The AI is, here's a headline, AI is non-binary. And by that I mean, don't treat it as a thing that you either use for everything or don't use for anything.
It's not black and white, right? There's lots
of... well, that's non-binary, right? That's exactly what that term means. Don't just... there are nuances to this, and there are a million different ways to use AI. I mean, every single week we talk. This is the first episode, a FridAI episode, in a long time where we haven't given, at least not yet, the episode's not over, but we haven't given actionable AI advice. We're simply reacting to the anti-AI sentiment. But otherwise, literally every other FridAI episode for the last, 6-8 months has been actionable things, different types of things that you can do with AI. And so, there's lots of stuff. And I don't for our theme song that was written by AI. I mean, it was AI assisted.
Well, that's a good point. It's AI. You even assistive intelligence, right?
Yeah.
That we said last time.
Yeah.
And I think that is spot on. And that if you just put blinders on, I'm not going to use it because I don't like it, what it does in music, or I don't want them to use it in the movies, or I don't want. That's fine. Yeah. It's, to me, that's like saying, well, I don't listen to music because I don't like Taylor Swift. I mean, that's ridiculous, right?
Right.
And so you should be able to discern, I enjoy the use of this. It's just like the internet. Well, I find it very useful in these areas.
Yes.
These areas I don't like. And these areas freak me out or disturb me. So I don't, I'm not involved in that, but I'm over here. I'm not just going to unplug myself because it exists. And I think that's something that all of us have to grapple with using this technology. But, if you look back over hundreds and hundreds of years of history, just about every technological advancement has lifted up society in so many ways, with the mortality rate, the productivity rate, the employment rate, at some point, not too long in our past, the vast majority of the world lived in abject poverty, brutal poverty. And now it's below 10% because of things like the Industrial Revolution and all these other things. So, and yes, there was massive displacement and all that kind of stuff, but just because you have to learn to manage it. And like there's child labor laws, right? Because we don't want
Yes.
kids working in factories anymore. So of course you'll have to, there'll have to be some guardrails here, I think, with AI, but you got to be careful about that too. But that's a good topic
I think,
for discussion too.
no, I think guardrails are a good thing. I think we at this point, well, it's a different conversation. I don't think we know enough, but please add it to the list. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
Because I think there's some positive and negative to that based on what size company you are.
Well, as with any regulation, I think that's true. Yes.
Well, the big companies often like the regulation because it keeps the little companies out. I think we're seeing some of that. So
it becomes what's the right term? It's a way of gatekeeping, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
the regulations.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love your take on it. What do you think the big takeaway is today, Dave?
Well, I mean, I'm looking here to make sure I don't go with recency bias of the last thing we talked about. But I think, I think the big takeaway from this episode is find ways where it makes sense for you to use the power of AI.
Yeah.
To benefit from the use of AI.
Yeah.
Find ways for your business. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's great. And you don't have to agree with every use of it.
Right.
To make it useful to you.
Yeah. Even if you only use it for one thing.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be better. And then the great part about that is it frees your time and your mental energy up to do the things that you want to do as so find the grunt work. Like maybe that's the takeaway is find the grunt work and have the AI do that so that you can do the things that are important to you.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Thanks for hanging out, folks. This has been enlightening. We love being able to do this. Feedback at businessbrain.show. And also visit businessbrain.show/review and leave us a review this weekend, would you? I'd love that, please. Have a great weekend. And keep living that charmed life, huh?
See ya.